Mr. Chairman, we are streaming live and recording on Zoom. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Welcome all, and good morning to MetroPlan Orlando's TSMO meeting. I will call this meeting to order. My name is Lenny Barden, and I'll be chairing the meeting today in place for Christine. This meeting is in person, and it is important for all TSMO members to attend our meetings in person, so all committee members are asked to be present at the MetroPlan Orlando boardroom for us to have a quorum. So members of the public will still be able to participate virtually, and we encourage them to do so. There are 2 public comment points in the meeting. Members of the public attending in person who want to speak need to fill out a comment card and give it to Rachel. Those attending on Zoom who want to speak can use the raise hand feature on the Zoom screen. We also accept comments by mail and phone message before the meeting. At this time, I will recognize Mr. Eric Hill, MetroPlan Orlando staff, for an agenda review.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, and good morning to committee members in the room and those online. A few things. Our office will be closed on July 3rd in honor of 4th of July. And also, our offices are going to be going through some renovations. So between July and September, there'll be some changes going on in this suite. And there's a chance that our August meeting will either be offsite or be virtual. But we will provide you with information on that. Our, we should say, Signal Systems Optimization Program used to be called our Traffic Signal Retiming Program. We have a working group that we established, and that working group will have its second meeting on July 6th at 2 p.m. via Zoom. A few other items I just want to highlight. We have a presentation by Nick Ramphos from the National Operations Centers of Excellence. This organization is funded through ITE, ITS America, and Federal Highway Administration to advocate for TSMO. A couple years ago, we had another staff member from NECO, that's the acronym, give a presentation, and this will be an update on what is going on in the TSMO world with they are supporting and trying to advance on behalf of TSMO. Also at your place, there is a one-pager on the 2026 Regional Transportation Survey, a presentation by Dr. Rick Hauser will be given at the TAC meeting. So if you can hang around for that, you can find some more information or hear more information about the survey results. Also on the agenda, we have an item under discussion. Laura Balk is going to lead a discussion on some of the investments MetroPlan Orlando will be making in data that we will be using in our planning efforts, and you can have access to as well. Before I move on to our safety moment, I just want to recognize or announce, some of you probably are aware, something very, very important. We're losing another staff member. Mike Wilson will be retiring, and it's been, I won't say how many years, but decades that I've worked with Mike. And I think many of you have also worked with Mike and have benefited from his knowledge in the bicycle pedestrian community, as well as if you are a cyclist or a pedestrian like most of us are, you've probably have heard him speak a lot about it. I know when I started here, again, decades ago, Mike encouraged me to buy a bike, and I did. And in Tampa, yeah. And I can remember how it was somewhat frightening to try and get across this particular intersection in Tampa, Fowler and 56th Street, for those that are familiar with Tampa, Temple Terrace area. It was somewhat frightening. And but I got over it, and I'm now, I wouldn't say an avid cyclist, but I do cycle. But Mike will be retiring, and we lose a lot of institutional knowledge, as well as a great asset to this organization, this community, this state, and just the whole pedestrian bicycle community. So, Mike, congratulations, and we will miss you. And, and before you take the podium, I guess it's fair for me to say this will be his last safety moment here at Metro Plan Orlando as staff. Now, it's quite possible that he may come back and give another safety moment in the future remotely from his retirement location. So I'll now move and allow Mike to give his safety moment.
Thank you so much, Eric, and good morning, everyone. So our safety moment this month is distraction. And I'm reminded of when I was 15 or 16 years old and on my learner's permit and driving down the street, my dad in the passenger seat and coming down a kind of a collector street, and another driver was coming from a side street, to the intersection. And that driver had a stop sign. I didn't give much thought to it. But after I passed the intersection, my dad said, you probably should have covered your brake back there. And so what does this have to do with distraction? Well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Our most recent safety speaker series was on distraction, and it took kind of an interesting tact of looking at the psychology of it and then how that interacts with our built environment. We had Dr. Jennifer Katzenstein, who talked about how our mental health is a really important component of distraction. What's going on in our heads is often a lot more important than what we're holding in our hands. So if we're dealing with issues like anxiety, stress, etc., those can impact our essential skills of attention and reaction time when it comes to crashes. And then there's also the built environment. And Dr. Patricia Tice talked about how the built environment can either engage us or it can kind of be boring, right? So boring is great if we're out on the freeway because, we need to go fast. We don't need to be focused on a bunch of conflicts potentially coming in from the side, pedestrians, driveways, things like that. There shouldn't be that out there. But when we start applying those kind of design elements to the streets where we do have those things, then we risk having drivers getting a little bored with the situation and resorting to, picking up their phone or getting lost in their thoughts. So finding that balance between, we don't want a road system that's exhausting, but we want it to be engaging rather than boring. So that built environment, can trigger it as well. And so this gets to the basic core principles of Vision Zero, a couple that I want to talk about this morning, that humans make mistakes. All right. And so now we have some sense of where some of those mistakes are coming from, and also that safety is proactive. And so when we focus on these two things, there's a thing we talk about a lot, which is reducing speeds so that the consequences of our mistakes are less severe, and many of them can be avoided. But also that's really the core of defensive driving. That's what my dad was getting at about covering your brake, that sooner or later that other person's going to make a mistake and you need to be prepared for it. You need to be able to compensate for that. And it's not just when we're behind the wheel of a vehicle, it's also when we're behind the handlebars or when we're walking down the street. Defensive traveling applies to all of us. And it's something that not only that we should want for ourselves to be defensive when somebody else makes a mistake, but we should want everyone else to be defensive for that moment when we inevitably make a mistake, because we're human and it's going to happen. And I want to leave you with a quote from my good friend Carrie Caffrey, co-developed the Cycling Savvy program with me about 15 years ago, that when she discovered some new strategies for cycling in traffic, she said, when I changed the way I rode, suddenly all the drivers got so much smarter. And this doesn't just apply to cycling, but it applies to us no matter what mode we're using. And so just wanted to leave you with that thought as my final safety moment. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mike? Mike, that won't be your final one. We're going to find a way to pull you back. I know everyone's going to miss you. I will miss you. I wish you best of luck on the West Coast. So teach them how to ride bikes as well.
There'll be a little bit of that going on. Yeah,
Thank you, Mike.
thank you.
Next, we will have item 4, agency reports. This is an opportunity for any of our partner agencies to speak to the committee. If any of our partners wish to provide updates during this slot, please let Rachel and Eric know via email at least a week prior to the TSMO meeting. Today, we have Jonathan Scarf for our regular report out from FDOT. Jonathan?
Morning, Mr. Chair, TSMO committee members. I'll be brief this morning. A couple of updates for you from around the district. First, I'd like to tell you about our district held our I-4 truck parking groundbreaking event on June 18th. We've been looking forward to this, and that was held at the future Seminole site and parking facility in Sanford. We'll slow down there. Okay, with that, I also have some new information, some new brochures that I can share with Rachel to share with the committees following this, kind of so you have the latest updated information on all the sites and when they'll go to construction. 3 of those sites will be going to construction this summer in 2026, and that is the Seminole County site, as well as the East and West Volusia site, so a little bit north of us here. And then the Orange County and Osceola site will be going to construction beginning in 2027. So again, I'll provide some updated information and just some of our notable attendees there at the site. And then coming up in the next month, we have the district will be holding a construction open house on Monday the 13th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Winter Park Event Center. And this is for the State Road 426 construction project. So this is a construction open house to kind of keep everybody informed in the area. And if you were involved in this project, we did a lot of efforts looking into it. It's kind of a canalized area, but it is a resurfacing, but there's also a lot of enhanced safety as well as adding traffic calming features and improved pedestrian crossings for that segment there. So pending questions, that's what I had for you this morning. And again, I'll be sharing some more information following the committee.
Any questions for Jonathan? Seeing none, thank you. Now we will move on to item 5, roll call. Rachel, may you proceed with roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If members can please remember to turn their microphones on and respond with here or present. Barden.
Here.
Boswell.
Here.
Cabba.
Present.
Nelson for Cologne.
Present.
Lagishetti for Crandell.
Here.
Delachey.
Here.
Ide.
Present.
Elisar.
Present.
Gordon. Henry.
Here.
Hibbert.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
LaFaso.
Present.
McGrath.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Mendenhall. Mercado Vasquez. Nezha. Owens. Price.
Here.
Pullum. Sadler.
Present.
Sanchez.
Present.
Sanders.
Here.
Crespi for Saunier.
Here.
Senerans.
Here.
Singh.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Wetzel.
Online, present.
Balone for Williams. Womack.
Present.
Yeager.
Present.
Yeargame.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the roll call. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now hear public comments on the action items. We ask that you provide your name and address for the record. Please hold your comments to 2 minutes or less. If any member of the public wish to comment and are joining us virtually, please use the raise hand function and you'll be recognized, or dial *9 on your phone keypad. We'll send you a prompt to unmute your mic. Do we have anyone joining us virtually who would like to make a comment?
No hands raised.
Do we have any members of the public attending in person that would wish to make a public comment?
No comments received.
Are there any written comments that were submitted before the meeting?
None.
Okay. With no public comments, we'll move on to our action items. We have 3 action items today. A reminder for members to please use your microphone and state your name when making or seconding a motion. Our first action item is the approval of the May 29th, 2026 TSMO meeting minutes, which are at section 1 in your agenda packets. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes, Smith.
And a second?
Second, Ramon Centerns.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, and it has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Our second action item is staff's request for amendments to the fiscal year 2026, 2027 to fiscal year 2030, 2031 Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. More information can be found in section 2 of your agenda packet. We will hear from Ms. Natalie Barber of MetroPlan Orlando, who will tell us more about this matter. Ms. Barber, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Natalia Barber, MetroPlan Orlando. Good morning, committee members. Today, I will ask for your approval for recommendation for the Transportation Improvement Program for fiscal years 27 to 31. And in your last meeting, I gave you a preview and the document was available online. So today, it will be a quick recap. What is the TIP and what's in it? Transportation Improvement Program, it's essentially region's transportation budget for the next 5 years that we update annually. And it sets the schedule for improvements to the region's transportation system. These are the main TIP components groups. So these are how the projects are organized, and there are different sections, and that's how the projects fall into each section, from aviation to active transportation, interstate, and others. Here's the summary of how the funding is split for the next 5 years. The main section is the interstate and strategic intermodal system with 30 projects for about $1.5 billion, then the state highway system, and then goes down the road to transportation systems management and operation for $51 million. And MetroPlan contributes to several of these projects for a total of 35 and $145 million. And MetroPlan splits the funding into 4 main categories: active transportation, TSMO, transit capital, and urban improvements. So when we put the document online and we asked our partners for comments, we received several updates to the TIP. Main section that was updated was the partner-funded projects. Then we made a few mapping updates to make sure it's accurate. We updated Appendix C, and also added a link to CFX work program that was recently approved. So those are the main changes that you can see from the previous version to the current one. We hosted a public events. We called them TIP Tuesdays, and we went to each county in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole. And we were able to reach between 50 and 60 people in each county, and they were able to ask questions about where the funding is going or the projects in their neighborhoods. We collected summary of public opinion and comments. And here are the primary themes of these comments: bicycle and pedestrian safety improvements, that was one of them. Congestion on John Young Parkway, Pleasant Hill, and Highway 192. The next one was sinking traffic lights and signal retiming in Osceola County. And then finally, improvement of rail service to cut down automobile traffic. So with that, I would like to ask your recommendation for approval for the 27 to 31 TIP, unless you have any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none. Is there a motion to approve the TIP amendment as stated?
Motion to approve, Price.
Right. Is there a second?
Second, LaFaso.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Our next action item is staff's request to approve approval of annual updates to the prioritized project list, or PPL. We will hear from Mr. Slade Downs of MetroPlan Orlando, who will tell us more about this item. Mr. Downs, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. As you just mentioned, I'm Slade Downs, and I'll be walking you through action on the prioritized project list today. Excuse me. So just as a quick refresher, the PPL is updated annually, just like the TIP. And it covers all unfunded projects and project phases through the 10 years following the TIP, running from 2032 to 2042. The PPL basically identifies what's next, whether it's the next phase of a project or it's a new project entirely. And it's consistent with our board's funding policies and the 2050 MTP's cost feasible analysis. At your last meeting, you had the opportunity to preview the draft PPL, and we asked for your feedback. We did receive a few comments, which resulted in a couple of minor changes to project costs due to inflation, and updates to a few project scopes based on design considerations, and updates to some of the project phasing. But the long and the short of it is that none of the rankings on any of the project lists were changed. And with that, unless anyone has any questions, I'll be asking for your approval of the PPL today as presented. Thanks. Be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Downs? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the action item as presented?
Motion to approve, Price.
Second, Sanders.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Downs. We will move on to our presentations. We have one presentation, and we will ask that you hold questions until the presentation is over. This presentation this morning is on the National Operations Center of Excellence by Mr. Nicholas Ramphos. Mr. Ramphos, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, currently he will be presenting online, but we don't currently have him online.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, is Nora here? Because we can move to the discussion. item.
Oh,
Oh, there she is.
he's
Nora?
just joined us.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
Okay.
Hey, good morning.
Ramphos? Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Nick Ramphos. I'm the director of the National Operations Center of Excellence, or as we like to call it, NOCO. And just wanted to give everybody a briefing today about NOCO. And
Mr. Ramphos, you do have slide control, so you can move forward with your arrows on your keyboard.
Okay. Doesn't seem to be working here. Oh, here it is. Okay. So there are when we look at transportation systems management and operations, or TSMO, there are three pillars that we take a look at through our committee here at AASHTO. And one of them is a transportation operations manual, which was published about 2 years ago. And we consider that our library book. And then when we look at the National Operations Center of Excellence, because we have so many resources, we look at that as the library. And then we host a number of regional operation leadership forums and operations practitioner workshops all across the country. And we consider that the classroom when it comes to TSMO. So that's just from our lens, that's how we're looking at TSMO. And NOCO offers a suite of services in terms of products and services to the industry. And that includes knowledge as well as networking and communicating any advancements in the industry. And that really allows us to provide a one-stop shop for all of this information that is available. We I think I went a little too far here. We are guided by 4 different organizations. I'm based here at AASHTO, which is one of the organizations. We also have strong relationships with ITE, ITS America, as well as the Federal Highway Administration. And that's through their operations programs. And between these 4 organizations, we're able to essentially move the ball forward when it comes to developing a technical services plan, as well as an engagement plan, and several other documents and strategies to move forth with all of the programs and services that NOCO offers. Speaking of strategic goals, we do have a strategic plan that was recently updated. And so some of the goals of that plan are to essentially work to help expand the TSMO workforce, because workforce development is one of the key issues that many of our agencies face. And then we're also looking to advocate for the deployment of current and emerging TSMO practices. So whether that's technologies or specific tactics or strategies, we're constantly at the forefront of getting that information out through our various channels. We also strive to mainstream TSMO across all of the agencies and modes, and we look at that as a core function of providing solutions that look at safety, travel reliability, as well as helping out the economy. We're also guided through 2 key groups. One is through our Strategic Advisory Council. And this group really provides more of a high-level strategic oversight and ensures continued success of NOCO on behalf of all of the partner agencies. And then we also have a technical advisory committee that provides input to NOCO through communicating the needs of whatever the industry is looking for. And Eric Hill serves on our technical advisory committee at MetroPlan Orlando. And we appreciate his contributions to that group. So some of the key services, and I know I touched on a little bit of this earlier, we do have a website and a knowledge center. And just this past year, we had over 230,000 views of that resource. We also published about 20 or more case studies in 2025, and then we had about 40 webinars that we hosted that comprise of about 1,800 views in 2025. And then we hosted some peer exchanges, about a half dozen. 2 of those are half-day virtual peer exchanges, and then the other 2 were 2-day virtual peer exchanges, and then we had 2 in-person peer exchanges. But the good news is that we had participants from about 48 states in those half dozen peer exchanges. And then we also host industry summits. So for instance, this fall we'll be hosting a TSMO summit here in Washington, D.C., and we're bringing together folks to essentially focus in on digital infrastructure. And we're looking forward to that. And it allows us to really kind of take a look at where some of the gaps are and provide us a roadmap on what some of the resources that may be needed out there for us to kind of come back and put together a plan. We also issue best practice reports, as well as work with other organizations. So whether it's FIFA World Cup, we've been coordinating resources committee for the last 3 years. We also, as I mentioned earlier, we're focused in on workforce development. So we've partnered up with the Engineering Workforce Consortium this past year to essentially work on getting information out and helping agencies with workforce development. So when you take a look at our current website views, those have basically skyrocketed between when we first started back in 2017 to where we are today. Some of our highly viewed areas on the website include our case studies. We also help promote Crash Responder Safety Week with the Federal Highway Administration. As I mentioned earlier, workforce development is one of our key areas that we focus on. And then we also have resources on SPAT, and we also focus in on TIM, and we have very specific a very specific webinar series just focused on TIM, and lots of participation in that particular area. We also have high readership of all of our case studies, and many of these case studies come from our TSMO Awards program, which is pretty much open to any agency that's implementing or developing TSMO. And so that is that viewership was over 25,000 just this past year. Again, our webinars are very popular. We held about 45 webinars last year. Actually, it was exactly 45. And back in 2017, it was only 10. But as you can see, again, this particular viewership has also skyrocketed during that time frame. And then we also have a technical services program. The way we're funded is that we have a cooperative agreement with the Federal Highway Administration, and then that's supplemented by states contributing to AASHTO's technical services program. And so this past year, our fiscal year starts July 1st. So it started July 1st of last year and it ends June 30th of this year. These are the states through May of this year that have contributed to that TSP. So we're up to 40 states. And when we first started, I believe it was around 10 states. So this has grown in popularity over that time period. So some of the things I just wanted to cover, we do have a workforce database, and that was recently updated. We worked with the Federal Highway Administration to update it. There's a number of course offerings in this database, and it's under one of our modules on our website, and it allows for industry practitioners to basically go into the database and take a look at what course offerings there are. And these are from various entities all across the country. So it's really kind of a one-stop shop for TSMO training. So we look forward to letting agencies know about this. And we just released the update just a few months ago. And so we're hoping that folks will take advantage of this, and we've been promoting it to allow for folks to take advantage of it. We also have some best practice reports. Yesterday, we just released 2 additional ones. One is on procurement, and the other one was on arterial roadways. These reports they're pretty short. They're anywhere from 6 to 12 pages, and it basically goes through and gives the reader some really good tips and success and challenges that are out there regarding a particular topic. And it also provides a number of resources under that topic that really gives the reader an opportunity to go back in and take a look at some specific information that they may be interested in. We also, as I mentioned earlier, we hold summits and peer exchanges, so we have a portal for that. And so every time we have a peer exchange, we develop a report that allows folks to basically, if they weren't in attendance at that peer exchange, they could go in and take a look at some of the findings that came out of that. And in particular, what gaps and challenges might still persist in that area, and any next steps that we would be taking to continue that conversation under that particular topic. In terms of products and services, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of webinars on a weekly basis. We have anywhere from 35 to 45 webinars a year. And so anyone could register. There's no cost for these webinars. You basically just go to our website, sign up, and there's just a number of topics that are available for participants to partake of. And then these are some of the peer exchanges that we're holding this year. We've already completed 4 of these. So the first one was back in February on maintenance work zones. We had another one on VitaX and TSMO that happened in earlier in the year. It was in the April timeframe. And then both of those were virtual 2-day peer exchanges. And then in May, we were out in Sacramento, California, and we did a TSMO and use of AI peer exchange, and that was pretty well attended. And we're in the process of writing up that report. The previous two reports were already released. And then just this past week, we held a TSMO to improve resilience peer exchange, and that was very well attended. And we worked closely with ITE on that particular peer exchange. And so the results from that will be available probably in the next month or two. And then we're planning for cybersecurity for TSMO peer exchange in early August, and then an in-person digital infrastructure peer exchange that'll be happening in Tennessee, and it'll be in the Nashville area. We've been working with TDOT on putting that whole program together. Some of you may be aware that we do, as I did mention this earlier, we do have the TSMO annual TSMO Awards. This is an opportunity for agencies to showcase some of the TSMO work that they're doing. This past year, we had a record number of entries into the awards. I believe it was around 30. And I think that was the second. I'm not going to say it was a record, but it was the second highest that we had submitted. And so these were the winners. Missouri Department of Transportation had an agency improvement award, and that was for their TSMO program where they did a summit. Connecticut DOT won the Emerging Trends and Technologies Award and the overall award for a wrong way driving program that they had put in place. And then Oklahoma DOT had their best TSMO project, and this had to do with their snowplows and their operations with those snowplows and how they interacted with the public. And then FDOT won for performance measurement, and this was on their I-95 Regional Express Lanes project, and basically taking a look at travel time reliability. So those were the award winners from this year, and we have developed case studies on each one of these, and they're already available on our website. And we're developing case studies on the other 25 plus entries that we had, and those will be available throughout the year. We just released one yesterday from Georgia Department of Transportation, and we're going to continue with these write-ups and have those available. So these are really good resources for TSMO professionals to take advantage of on our site. We also work with students. We have a transportation technology tournament this year. We focused on safety. This allows students across the country at any university to work with public agencies to solve real-world transportation problems. And that's through the use of technology and other TSMO tactics. This is a graph from last year's winning team. It was the University of Michigan. They had done a plan on the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. So the tournament, as I mentioned earlier, allows the teams to work directly with public agencies, and they come up with a plan. And basically, it's a ConOps plan, and it allows for teamwork, problem solving, presentation skills, and then networking with transportation professionals as part of the project. These are this year's participants from a variety of universities. We had 15 teams. Some of these schools have more than one team, and it was a very competitive process. Some of our partnering agencies are listed here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but as you can see, there's a wide range of DOTs as well as cities that get involved, and they provide industry expertise to the student teams. And then the finalists, we typically invite 3 teams to attend the ITE annual meeting to present their papers and their solutions document. This year, because it was so competitive, we invited 4 teams. We have 2 teams from South Carolina State University. Another team is from Iowa State. And then the 4th team is from the University of Texas at Arlington. And so we We'll be hosting them a little bit later in July, and we'll have a team of judges there, and they'll have an opportunity to present their solutions documents, and then from that we choose an ultimate winner, and it's announced at a ceremony that's held right after the tournament itself. This is last year's winning team in at the ITE meeting that was held, and again, that was University of Michigan. And the last plug, I'm just going to let folks know we do have a newsletter that comes out. If you're not signed up for it, there's a QR code on this slide. Feel free to sign up. It allows you to get the latest and greatest information on any upcoming webinars, our featured resources. So whether it's a need case study, best practice report, a peer exchange report, and then any other events that are happening are listed throughout this newsletter. So I would encourage all of you to sign up for this if you're not already signed up. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ramphos. Do we have any questions? I had two quick ones. I know you said the webinars had no cost. Is there any cost associated to any of the material that you showed or for registering? And if so, do you have a ballpark? And just trying to see how, if an organization that saw some of this information, how they could start digging into it.
There's no cost. All of our information is free to any organization. We do work with many MPOs across the country. In fact, we're usually stationed at AMPO's annual meeting. We've done some joint webinars with AMPO, and hopefully we're going to be able to do some more. So yeah, so any of those resources that I listed, if you go to the transportation.org website or the NOCO website, you have free access to all of that.
Thank you. I know I'll be in touch. I have a few other questions about some things we're trying to do at my city. So thank you for the presentation. And there are no other questions. I think you're free for the rest of your morning.
All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Moving on to common presentations. We do have two common presentations that will be presented at the TAC meeting. For those who are available, we encourage you to stay for the TAC meeting to view those presentations. And those presentations are a presentation on public opinion research and a presentation on pedestrian and bicycle crash analysis tool updates and initial findings. And we'll move on to the next section for that on discussion of Metro Plan Orlando's data resources. Ms. Laura Bach will lead a discussion on data investment by Metro Plan Orlando.
Great. Thank you, Vice Chair. Good morning, everyone. I will be short, no slides for me. Alex and I have been busy negotiating our next renewal for our streetlight contract, and so we thought it was a good time to come share with you. It's a reminder for some, I think notice for others, on some of the software data analysis vendors that we have relationships with that you then have access to through our contracts. So I mentioned streetlight, and I will start there. We are renewing our contract with Streetlight. This will be a 6-month extension through December 31st. As things change beyond that, we will keep you posted as to what the renewal looks like beyond that period. But the way that we are working that contract right now for our local agencies is if you have a need to utilize Streetlight or to do any data extractions, you can reach out to myself or Alex, but probably me. And then we'll work collaboratively with you and one of our GPCs to do the data extraction. And then we can share that with you so you can do the analysis. A little bit different from how we've been doing things where people just had sort of login capabilities. With our new contract, we've went from a single domain from a multi-domain access to a single domain. So we do things a little bit more through Metro Plan Orlando. So just reach out if you would like to access Streetlight or if you have any questions about how we work that process. Second vendor that we are working with is Cidian, and we have access to their crash platform. A lot of you who attend our task force meetings or attended the training in January are already familiar with them, but that crash tool supports regional safety analysis and sort of planning and project development within that space. For the Citian and Crash platform access, you can actually have direct access. So a lot of you already have a login. If you do not, you can reach out to me and I can get you access. Just add your email onto our platform. So please reach out if you have any questions about that. If you're not familiar with Citian, at our next Vision Zero Task Force meeting on July 14th, we'll actually have a representative here to just update everyone on some of the updates to the platform since we did the training back in January, and to do one or two short description of what they're able to do. So encourage you to watch that if you're able to. The third vendor that I wanted to talk about was Urban SDK. With our Urban SDK contract, we have a limited number of seats, I think 7 seats right now, that are currently in use. Through that Urban SDK contract, we can provide access to speed, volume, and travel reliability data for all of the roadways, including off-system, anything that's functionally classified, I should say, within our regional network. So if you don't currently have access to Urban SDK, or if you're not sure, please reach out to me and I'll let you know, and then we can coordinate on getting you access if you don't currently have it. It'll probably have to wait till our next renewal, but we can work together on that. And we can also access the data for you if you don't have your own login. The fourth that I'll mention is Flow Labs, that we're going to be working with, accessing their TMCs to support the work that we'll be doing through our signal retiming program over the next couple of years. Now, through our access, our relationship with Flow Labs, you don't actually have direct access, but FDOT does provide access to local partner agencies and their approved consultants through the Flex portal on the CFL Smart Roads website. So there's that one. And then we're continuing to talk to other vendors, probably some of the same ones that are reaching out to you all in the region. And if any of those relationships progress, we'll let you know so that you know what you have access to. And I'm bringing all of this up just to note, this is a pretty significant investment that we make every year, and it's really the most worthwhile for us and for the region if we are able to provide access to you all and not just for Metro Plan Orlando projects. So as we're going to our next renewal periods for fiscal 28, I'll be reaching out again just to check in on what people are using. We do keep track of sort of who's logging in for those that have direct access, and the things that we're not seeing get used. We know we're going to take another look at whether or not those relationships make sense. We want to make sure that we're able to help you provide the data that you need so that our local decision makers can make good decisions. And if these are not the right resources, then we want to talk with you about which ones might be better. So keep us in the loop. If you have questions, let me know, and I'm happy to answer any questions right now. Mike.
What kind of data is available from street lights?
So Streetlight, we have this sort of the transportation planning package. So volumes, speeds, OD data, can do zonal analysis, corridor analysis. With our new subscription, we still have access to the truck data as well. Oh, and active transportation volumes.
So volumes, is that turning movement volume or
we do have TMCs, yes. We
So-
do have TMCs, yes.
Okay. How many intersections?
It's for the network, for the entire network for the region. It's not the same type of TMC data you're getting from Flow Labs, but it's not. Flow Labs is using AI and then their actual FDOT's actual data to go in and interpolate for the intersections that they didn't collect data on. Streetlight isn't doing that level. It's more CB data that's feeding what they have, but you do have TMC access through Streetlight. Welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing them. Thank you,
All right,
Laura.
thanks for the time.
All right, we will move on to general information. There are several items in the general information section of our agenda packet for your review under section 4. And then moving to upcoming meetings of interest. There's a list of upcoming meetings in your agenda, and some noticeable meetings are: the Metro Plan Orlando Board meeting will meet on July 8th, 2026. And the next TSMO meeting will be on August 28th, 2026 at our normal time, 8:30 a.m. And a list of upcoming meetings to be held at Metro Plan's Orlando's office, unless a different location is specified. So please check the website for more information and the calendar. Now we'll move on to member comments. Are there any final comments from any of the members here or virtually? I don't see any. I have three really quick ones. One, I wanted to thank Mike. Again, I don't see him here, but we're going to miss you. Next week, if you're in the Altamont Springs area, please come out. We have our Red Hot and Boom event. It's going to be probably one of our larger ones, with it being the 250. And with that, hopefully traffic will be flowing smoothly, because we just put in the Causeway One Network closure. So that system, if you drive through the area, you should be able to run smooth. And I wanted to bring up Causeway because I've been getting a lot of questions from some people in this room and then some just from the region. I know Osceola presented on it at the Safety Summit with DOT this past year. We presented the year prior. And I believe Seminole County their traffic division just signed on. So I figure we were very fortunate. Ken Selvig is actually in the audience today. He's with Causeway. He was fortunate to be in the area for this meeting. So I figure the questions, if you have them, you can actually go to the source for some of these questions. And with that, no other comments. I'll move on to public comments. We have our final public comment opportunity. If any members of the public wish to comment, please use the raise hands function and you will be recognized, or dial *9 on your phone keypad. We'll unmute your mic after you are recognized. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comment to 2 minutes or less. Do we have anyone joining us virtually who would like to make a comment?
No hands raised.
Do we have any members of the public attending in person that wish to make a public comment?
No comments received.
And did we have any written comments that were submitted before the meeting?
None.
Okay. And with that, I hope you all enjoy your July 4th weekend next weekend, and the meeting is adjourned at 9:22.